Interest is growing in both the public and private sectors to halt nature loss and address the climate crisis. Increasingly, investment is being directed to climate mitigation interventions, which must deliver real, meaningful and measurable benefits for people, nature and the climate, as envisioned in the Paris Agreement. For companies, with this increase in investment comes a critical need to ensure that they are following the climate change mitigation hierarchy. This means to first set and work to implement internal science-based targets that are compatible with limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius before investing in climate and nature action that sits beyond your value chain. To prevent the most catastrophic impacts of climate change, the world needs to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible, and no later than 2050, which means reducing emissions to the greatest extent possible and balancing any remaining emissions by removing an equivalent amount from the atmosphere. So by prioritizing internal emissions reductions first, as outlined in the WWF's Blueprint for Corporate Action on Climate and Nature, account and disclose, science-based reductions, quantifying commitment, and investing in climate action. So what comes next? Many look to carbon credits as the next step in their climate action journey, but this is where we're limiting our impact. Carbon crediting is just one limited option in a much broader toolkit that needs to be developed and supported in its entirety. We need to channel investments and build partnerships to protect, restore, and manage the world's ecosystems, both market and non-market based, which is why we've created the Beyond Carbon Credits Blueprint. A blueprint that outlines how interventions can create positive climate and environmental impact through lasting, transformational changes. Changes that promote people, nature, and climate as equal beneficiaries. The 4 key elements of this blueprint seize: nature-based solutions for climate mitigation. Deliver for people, nature, and climate by equally prioritizing the improvement of livelihoods and human well-being, the protection and enhancement of nature, and the generation of carbon reductions or removals. Nature-based solutions are implemented at significant scale by supporting an integrated landscape or jurisdictional strategy or program. Nature-based solutions must be designed and implemented in ways that prioritize a landscape's needs, not designed to maximize carbon reduced or removed at the expense of biodiversity and human livelihoods. Best-in-class, credible nature-based solutions for climate mitigation ensure interventions are sustainable, permanent, and have equitable stakeholder ownership and benefit sharing. So, how to engage? Start by following the mitigation hierarchy, prioritizing actions and practices to reduce your own internal emissions while collaborating with peers and influencing climate policy related to your sector. Then you can turn towards nature-based investments, creating key partnerships that align state and non-state partners towards real, long-lasting transformational change that promotes people, nature, and climate as equal beneficiaries. And by following the approach outlined in WWF's blueprint, the integrity and future-proofing of investments can be ensured. An approach that ensures credibility, that mitigates the reputational risks linked to solely relying on buying carbon credits. An approach that catalyzes partnerships across both private and public sectors by entities such as WWF. Partnerships that benefit from improved governance. Partnerships built on feasibility, scalability, and integration, seeking to break silos. That put communities first, ensuring benefits for people and planet, from ideation all the way through to implementation.